You are listening to The Current. I'm Jill Riley, Current's morning show, and I got the word this week that we've got some news from the Black Keys. And I could just tell you all that news myself, but I don't want to do that because I've got a special guest on the line. I've got half of the Black Keys. Dan Auerbach is with me. Hey, Dan, how are you doing?
Hey, how are you? I'll be your news anchor
Yes,
today.
please. You know what? Sometimes I think I could use somebody. Well, hey, Dan, I heard some great news. New Black Keys record on the way, and you got a new song out this week. So, hey, how does it feel to have a new record coming out?
It's exciting. I don't think I'm nervous, but I'm excited. I
Yeah.
guess that's how I would describe it.
Yeah, oh, and I imagine, after all this time, it's actually, I know it doesn't feel good to be nervous, but it's so relatable to at least hear you say that you still get nervous about these things. But it's nice to hear, excitement. Last year we got a blues covers album from the Black Keys, Delta Cream. Before that, it was the record Let's Rock. So, hey, Dan, tell me about, making the new record. When did you guys get together? Where did you record it?
We did it at my studio, Easy Eye Sound in Nashville, Tennessee. But we'd recorded that Delta Cream album, and we recorded that record in one day, and it was so much fun. And I think that we just couldn't wait to get back in the studio. To be honest, it made us excited to get into the studio.
Yeah. So the recording for Delta Cream, I mean, if I remember correctly, that kind of came at the end of your tour for Let's Rock. And so you did it, you had so much fun with it. And then I imagine, like a lot of people during the pandemic, did you have some downtime then to think about writing a new record?
Honestly, I never stopped working because I was always working on albums.
Okay.
But Pat and I we blocked out a couple weeks on the calendar. And we didn't talk about anything or plan anything. We just had those weeks coming up, and that's it. And with the same spirit that we made Delta Cream, we kind of like jumped into making our own record, and that's basically how we got there.
Well, where did you get the inspiration for the sound of the record and even this title, Dropout Boogie? What does that mean to you?
Well, it's definitely a nod to Captain Beefheart, who we love, but it's also who we are. We're both dropouts, and I think we've always felt like sort of like underdogs, or sort of like we're definitely dropouts. Never the guys with the diplomas on the wall. You know what I mean? But but we love that. You know what I mean? I guess that's sort of what it's all about.
Yeah, I think the first time I ever heard of Captain Beefheart was when I was doing college radio. And it was like from some of my favorite people that I got to know. Just like, kind of just as you described it, not everybody calls Captain Beefheart like maybe an influence or an idol. So that's kind of cool to hear that.
I mean, Pat and I really bonded over Safe as Milk. And that was Ry Cooder playing all the slide guitar. He played on all the early Rolling Stone stuff. So it's like very similar vibe on the guitar. And it was just like inspiring because I knew all the old blues songs, but to hear somebody take those kind of forms and then like mutate them and turn them into something new, but still have that really raw old style of guitar. I loved that. And I think that was like helped Pat and I form a bridge, to where we could get together.
I'm on the line with Dan Auerbach of the Black Keys, talking about a new record on the way this spring, Dropout Boogie. It's due out May 13th. And Dan, you've got a new song out this week. I listened to it on repeat. I think I put it on, I've heard it about a dozen times in a row. It's got a great groove. It's did I hear a little wah-wah pedal on this new song, Wild Child?
I think there's probably some on the rhythm guitar.
Yeah. I liked it. I like the groove of it. So, we've got this song we've got it queued up to play in a little bit here. I wonder if you could talk about the song a little bit.
Well, that's funny that you brought up the wah-wah because I don't think I've ever used a wah-wah on a Black Keys song ever.
Yeah, I noticed it right away.
So weird. But I always have one set up at the studio. I just don't really use it that much. But anyway, I mean, the song, I mean, there are songs on the record where they're just first takes,
Mm-hmm.
very raw. All the mistakes, we just left them in there. This one we probably worked on it the hardest, took us longest to construct, even though it's such a simple song. Sometimes it's just like that, you know. But yeah, and we had our friend Greg Cartwright from the Oblivions and the Raining Sound. He helped us with some of the lyric writing, and so it was really fun, cool experience.
The song is called Wild Child. Got it queued up to play here in just a moment. New record. We're talking about new Black Keys record, Dropout Boogie, due out this May. And Dan, I couldn't help but notice that this year is the 20th anniversary of the Black Keys. Can you even believe it? I mean, are you guys, sometimes maybe in disbelief that you've kept it together this long, or does it completely make sense?
I mean, it seems insane.
Yeah.
I mean, I've made music with so many people, but it's just still to this day, it's just never as easy as when Pat and I play together. We were just like given this gift of like being neighbors when we were 16. We were a block and a half from each other. I don't know. It just seems crazy to me.
Yeah. So,
but I also feel like our relationship is probably better now than it ever has been. I think like the time has actually helped our relationship.
yeah, so time. And what else is the key to that? I mean, are there just certain people that maybe get us better than others?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. But, touring kind of throws a wrench in things just because you're not really meant to be around somebody so much day in, day out, all the time, close confines. That'll drive anybody crazy, Definitely having time off is probably really good for us. But I mean, even before the pandemic, we were just in a really good spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and, again, Black Keys, you've been at it for 20 years, this year being the 20th anniversary of you guys, being a duo, being a band. And, you talk about, the time and, maybe touring can always like throw a wrench into any sort of relationship. But, I mean, do you think that also kind of a key to your longevity is the fact that you guys have always had kind of your own interests? You do so much producing outside of the band.
I just think that we both are still so excited and fascinated with the recording studio and making music. I mean, we're still just as excited to make records now as we ever were. It hasn't really lost its appeal at all because it's so magical. It's like anything can happen. You can have an absolutely worthless day, or you can write a smash hit. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you just never know. And all that happens in between. And I don't know. It's just so addicting and still is.
Yeah. I mean, when you talk about this new record, Dropout Boogie, and how, some of the songs, really keeping them raw and even first takes. I mean, that has to feel kind of reminiscent to when you guys first started out and maybe you're like making records in a basement. And, now I know you have your own studio in Nashville. But, that's kind of kind of a cool way to, to keep it working for the two of you.
I mean, it's just a big part of who we are.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's always been part of our sound is the sound of not practicing. The sound of all the mistakes is part of the sound. And, I think that's the thing that we really like too, is that it's always teetering on the edge of collapsing, but it somehow doesn't sometimes, and, there are definitely songs on the new album that are just first takes. We had Billy Gibbons stop by one night.
What?
We just jammed with them and we made up a song on the spot. And that's on the record. It's called Good Love. But I mean, it's just, that's really a big part of who we are, is that improvising.
Well, that's very cool to hear. Yeah, Billy Gibbons. I'll look forward to hearing that one. Dropout Boogie, new record from the Black Keys, coming out May 13th. I see that you guys have posted a bunch of tour dates for this summer into fall. Now, Dan, I did notice no Minnesota date yet, but, there's always time to correct a wrong here. Okay, so hopefully, we'll cross our fingers that you're in our neck of the woods eventually someday.
You just tell me what city we should cancel, and I'll get to it.
Oh no, I can't break hearts in another city. I mean, I have some ideas if you really want me to be cutthroat about it here. But yeah, we got the new record on the way, Dropout Boogie from the Black Keys. and that new song. And Dan, you talked about this this new song, "Wild Child." So hey, take a listen for what Dan called perhaps the first use of the wah-wah pedal on a Black Keys track. Dan Auerbach of the Black Keys. I appreciate your time, and thanks for checking in about this this new music.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right. Best of luck when you hit the road. We'll talk soon. Okay.
All right. Thank you.